Now that we have been able to update our model, so let's try and add record to the database now, factoring the new feeds that we added. So now we then go the hard way that we have been using before, and very soon you'll be seeing the easy way. But for now, let's see how things work in the background. So now to do that, let's enter our Python shell again. So do manage.py and we enter the shell. But before we enter the shell, let me just close this. Let me exist. I told you to come out from the shell, just exist. So let me clean this so that we have a clean interface or a clean terminal. So we enter our shell again. Now I told you to bring back a previous command. Just press the up arrow and it will bring back the previous command that you run in the terminal. So now that we have our shell, I told you once you close the shell, you open it again, you should import the model that you want to work with again. So now to import it, I want us to now run from student management dot models import student, no model name called student management. Okay, I misspelled it, so I'll just copy. It's supposed to be a small letter S, so please always pay attention to details. Otherwise, you just see that little things matter. So just the fact that I wrote the S as a capital letter, it's telling me the model is not saying. So that means it is case sensitive. Now that we have it imported, since it does not give us any error, that means it's working. So now let's now try and add a new record. So students, students. So we have students. So let's now define the first name. Let's set that to, since we have updated that John, we don't have John again. Let's just set this to John. The comma, last name. I'm looking at the entry here, so let me just copy it here. So I set that to, let me set this to dim something, anything depends. So I look at the next feed, which is H, and I set that to, let me set that to 20. I look at the next feed, which is email. Okay, let me just type it, email, and I set that to team@gmail.com. Now don't forget that when you are writing number, you don't need to put it in an inverted comma. So we'll look at the next field, which is phone, and phone is a number. So let's just do some random number, 07212121. So let's also see is registered. Let's set it to true now. It's a boolean, is registered, and let's set that to true. And let's see date joined. Now there's something I want us to do here. I want us to see the current date in action. Like most of the time you don't, if you say you should be setting dates, automatically the time that you are setting for a particular user might be different from the previous one. So let's see how to get the current date. Like you are looking at the date that the student actually registered, so that we can avoid any form of bias of, okay, I registered this date and not registered. Let's just get the current date, and Django also provide that functionality. So let's just cut this for now. Okay, it's not allowing us. Okay, let's just, let me just see if I can copy it. So I don't want to, okay, if I paste it, yeah, it's copied. So don't worry, it's true and error, that means it does not do anything. So we just paste it later. But now let's see how to get the current date in Django. Now to get the current date, you just do the way you're able to import your model. You just import it from Django too, and all this in the shell. So Django.utilities, you import the time zone. You can import the time zone, and now that you have imported the time zone, you can now bring back your model again and now say date join. Okay, sorry, I forget to put a comma here. Date joined, and so that you would not, because if you set the current time now, as I'm typing it, I said the current time. By the time I click enter, the current time will have entered the next second. So that means it is not valid. So I should just allow the system to get me the current time. So I'll just say time zone that I imported from Django, and I just say dot now. So to get the current time for me. So I press enter now. Okay, it's fine, it's fine, it's fine. So we should rather just put the phone as a see that we are getting an error reading 0 in decimal integer literals are not permitted. So it does not allow me to have a leading 0. Of course, you expect a counter details to have a leading 0. So the best solution we can just do to fix that is that we just set that instead of having it as a integer feed. Of course, we will set some validation at the front end of our application, which you are going to be seeing in action very soon. So let's just set this to character feed so that we're able to add leading 0. So of course, when you add, you just be very fast with it. Now we run the migration, we make the migrations. After making, of course, sorry, I did not save the file. Remember to save the file. So make the migrations. Maximum length attribute must define a maximum length attribute. Okay, let's set the maximum length to, so once you get an error, read the error, you know what to do. So let's just set that to 254 and let's save. Let's make the migration again. Of course, we have our migration, so we then go ahead and migrate. Of course, I don't want to check again because I know what I'm doing and I'm also out of time. So we have been able to migrate now. So now let's now go back to our shell so that we're able to add leading 0. You see that there's always a need to update your model, maybe during the time of maybe when you're coding or when you're testing or anything. So that's why you should know how to update your model. So imagine when we're testing an application, we realize that okay, we can't add a leading 0 automatically, and we know that our application will need us to get a leading 0. Then we need to come and change something so that we can make our application work exactly the way it should work. So let's do our shell again. The shell. So let's import from student management dot models. Let's import student. So now that we have imported student, let's just copy and paste the details that we typed earlier. So now let's press enter. Okay, now you don't forget that I've changed the number from integer to character, and I said when you have a character you should always put it in an inverted comma. So now what you now need to do is just have your cursor here, press enter. Okay, time zone is not defined. I told you you should import it again, and don't forget that we imported it from Django django.utis import time zone. So since I've updated this line, I'll come and copy this line. Now it's not throwing any error. That means it is working. So now, but always remember that once you define this, you should always save. So that it will be committed to the database. So I'll just call the save function. Automatically alignment has been committed to the database. So to check what I've added, I'll just say the model name, which is student dot object dot all, and I will then call the values. I'll then call the values. Now you can see now that instead of one record that I have earlier, and I have two records, which is now the ID2, first name John, last name Dim, based on what I added earlier. And now you have seen how to update your model. And now, just a bonus in this session, let's look at a little bit of user interface of how to display, get the data from the database and display it to the user. And to do that, what you just need to do is define a template. So that is how to delete, update, insert, and read your record, and also how to update your model in case there's a need for you to update the model. And in the concluding part of this session, we are going to be looking at how to get data from the database, display to the user in a dynamic way. Of course, you expect if you get student details page, when I log in as a student, the details I should see should be different from what you see because our details are definitely different. So that is what I mean by dynamic. So it should generate a dynamic content, a content that is unique or peculiar to you, and it's also get a content that is unique or peculiar to me. So all just with one page. So we're going to be seeing that in the concluding session of these parts on that data and model.